Welcome to Mint Views. What we have for discussion today is the job pessimism of Indian millennials. Millennials here are defined as those within the age group of 23 to 38. The latest results have just come of the YouGov-Mint Millennial Survey. According to the results, 2/3 of Indian millennials are pessimistic about their job prospects. Now, interestingly, it turns out that the better these millennials are qualified, the more pessimistic they are. Now, that's an interesting phenomenon. We have to discuss what's going on here. Srijay, is there an explanation for this?
There is Arish, and that has to do with the economy itself. If you remember, the economy grew by 5% in the first quarter of this financial year, which was a 6-year low. Now, State Bank of India has estimated that the growth would further decelerate to 4.2% in the second quarter. Quite frankly, the economy is not growing fast enough and not producing enough number of jobs. India has actually entered a vicious cycle, which is there are no jobs, therefore you have no money, you have no income, therefore there is no consumption, and then this vicious cycle continues. So this pessimism is understandable.
So basically, millennials are very, very pessimistic about the economy, and it's hurting them where it hurts most, with jobs. Shrija, can you explain to us what's going on here in depth, particularly with millennials and their attitudes?
Right. So I definitely the point about economy going on a downhill or the slowing age of the economy, as Shrija mentioned, is one of the major factors. Which explains the constant pessimism that exists among millennials. But also interesting, Arish, the survey, one of the findings of the survey mentions that a section of the well-educated individuals or graduates are more pessimistic about job prospects rather than their not so educated counterparts. So this has something to do with the broader skill set which is available for the millennial demography. So if you look at the traditional job seeking environment, it's definitely has undergone a major change. And one of the major factors is, if you look at the skilling initiatives, there exists a wide gap between the demand and the supply of the skilling ecosystem. And sometimes this is further fueled by the fact is there is an information asymmetry, or if I could say, there's an information gap between what the job market wants and what the job seeker requires.
So you're basically saying there seems to be some gap between the kind of skills millennials are acquiring and the kind of jobs that the market is willing to offer, what little jobs there are. Apparently, there aren't very many. Would you agree with this assessment, Anant?
No, I think Shrija, both of them have a little bit. They perhaps are the millennials, that's why they have that pessimistic kind of a view. I don't share that view. I think I'm a bit more optimistic. Even if I'm not optimistic, I'm not that pessimistic at least. I think right now we need to first figure out whether this is a trend or is this only a blip. And if you see the survey itself, you'll get indications of which way it actually is. The details show us that in the start of 2019, the optimism had improved as far as prospects for jobs are concerned, and also among the group who are better educated. So after that, it has fallen. Pessimism has increased. So I think this should be defined more as a blip rather than a trend. We'll have to look at what happens in the next rounds of the survey before concluding either way. But at this point of time, we don't have evidence to say that this is a long-term trend. As soon as there is a change in the state of the economy, the health of the economy, I'm sure the level of optimism will also change. So the broader point will remain, how soon can we get our economy back on track?
So it's possible that within 6 months we find the numbers are again looking up. It's true that this latest survey is basically registering a dip from the previous one, which was in February and January and February. It's possible that things could change, but there are long-term factors which are influencing the entire job market here. Like technology perhaps. Rohit, is there a point you would like to make?
There's a technology-led disruption which is rewiring the job market in terms of the jobs that are available and in terms of the skills that those jobs require. And I think that is what is also leading to the pessimism against in the youth.
So there's a lot of flux going on, it looks like, in this entire jobs market. Millennials are skilled in certain ways. They go out there and they probably find that what they've learned and what they've been taught to do does not match what the economy right now is willing to absorb. There is something awkward going on. It's not very clear whether this is long-term, short-term. The pessimism waves, of course, depend pretty much on what people make of the state of the economy. Broadly speaking, India has been adopting more and more capital intensive production techniques. That's because that's the kind of investment that goes in the West, because they have a labor shortage. India doesn't. But still, we import the same capital intensive manufacturing processes to India. We implement them and we find that just not enough people being employed. That's one of the major issues. How that gets resolved is not very clear, but there are solutions some people have proposed. We hope something gets done. We also hope the economy actually moves up from where it is currently. We need to have optimistic young people, not pessimistic young people in this country. That's how an economy grows. Thank you.